Guys, if you need a running back to start in week 15 and you're not completely sure to plug him in or put him on your bench, I got you covered in this video. We're about to go over 10 running backs that are solid starts in week 15 here. Also, week number 1 of your fantasy football playoffs. Now, if you guys are new to this channel, before we start, please consider hitting that subscribe button and also dropping a thumbs up on this video. Player number 1 and number 2 respectively, we're gonna combine them into number 1 here. It's gonna be Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Both of them I like in this matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are currently ranked 22nd against running backs. Now, both of these guys provide great pass catching value, but the thing that I like, a couple weeks back when Ezekiel Elliott was injured, we were expecting a steep drop off of Tony Pollard's production once Zeke came back. We weren't really expecting Zeke to perform as well as he was in the beginning of the season once he came back, but that is completely false. Tony Pollard's production is very consistent along with Zeke's, so I'm comfortable playing both of them in this matchup. I also think this could go one of two ways. One being that the Cowboys absolutely boat race the Jacksonville Jaguars and are up in this game by 7 to 14 points, then can run the ball down their throat. Even if it's close though, I still think they run the ball a lot. The other option is obviously it's a close game. I still see it playing out the same way where they run the ball a lot, because why not give the ball to 2 of your best players on your team other than CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott, 2 of the greatest players on the Cowboys right now. Player number 2 on this list is somebody that has been pissing off the fantasy community to no end this season. The inconsistency is absolutely ridiculous. Alvin Kamara going up against the Atlanta Falcons here, who are 19th against running backs so far this season. Listen, I don't hate the matchup at all. Coming off a bye week, I think Alvin Kamara gets the ball a lot more than previous weeks. It's so frustrating having Kamara on your team and seeing Mark Ingram catch passes out of the backfield. I feel like Andy Dalton, what's the beef with Alvin Kamara this year? It just doesn't make any sense to me. We want to see him get more involved, and I think they get their best player more touches in this matchup against Atlanta defense that's middle of the road. Could see this being a close game in which Kamara gets a lot more touches than the past couple of weeks. Let's hope. Next up here, we have Miles Sanders going up against the Chicago Bears, who are currently ranked 29th against running backs this year. It's pretty self-explanatory of what I think this game is going to look like. Eagles pull ahead early. It could be a blowout in which Miles Sanders should see around 15, 20, 25 carries in this game. If we're lucky, finds the end zone, 15, 20 fantasy points for you. He's looked very good over the past couple of weeks, but he is very game script dependent. If it's a close game, then he's not scoring as many points as we would like. But if it's a blowout game and he's getting a lot of carries, he's doing very well for your fantasy teams. Next up on the list is going to be Isaiah Pacheco going up against the Houston Texans. I'm also going to throw in JERICK McKinnon in this list as well, in the same slot at number 4. JERICK McKinnon provides better pass catching value, while Pacheco in standard leagues will provide you more value there. Worst ranked run defense in the league, like I said, so a lot of potential for a blowout in this one as well. I think the Texans got a little bit lucky last week sticking in that game against the Cowboys. I don't think that happens again with the Chiefs. Chiefs are just so much more of a powerful offense than the Texans. We've seen the Texans struggle all year. So if this game is a blowout, Pacheco can see around 15, 20 carries. And then you got McKinnon for if it's a close game scenario, catching a lot of passes out of the backfield. Take your pick with these two. I don't think you can go wrong here. Next up here, we have Zonovan Knight in a little bit tougher of a matchup against the Detroit Lions, who are ranked 8th in the league against running backs. I don't think it really matters, to be honest with you. Zonovan Knight seems to be the clear running back number 1 on the Jets. Michael Carter came back from injury last week. I don't know if they're easing him back into the offense here or if it's Zonovan Knight's role for sure. I would be pretty confident plugging him into your flex spot. I mean, if you pick this guy up off waivers a couple weeks ago, you got to be feeling good about his past performances these past couple of weeks here. Next up here, we have James Conner going up against the Denver Broncos, who are ranked 15th in the league against running backs. James Conner provides great pass catching value. So especially in PPR leagues, you need to have this guy in all of your lineups. 6 catches last week for 29 yards. That's up there. He's getting more catches than Alvin Kamara right now, which is absolutely ridiculous. But you love to see it if you're a James Conner owner. In this game against the Denver Broncos, I can see this going one of two ways. Number 1 is that neither team can score any points, which would not be good, but James Conner is going to get heavily involved in the run game no matter what. And then number 2, the Arizona Cardinals pull out early. I don't see the Broncos dominating this game by any means because the Arizona defense is not bad. So one of the two scenarios happens. Either way, James Conner should thrive. Next person up on this list who is going to provide some good upside potential here, coming in at number 7, is going to be David Montgomery against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, these next 4 guys that I'm going to go over, starting with Montgomery, provide great value to the upside, but also are slightly reliant on game script, so we have to keep that in mind. But like I said, David Montgomery, Eagles are ranked 16th against the run, but they have showed weakness against the run, especially against the Washington Commanders on Monday night, that one week where Brian Robinson was running crazy, Antonio Gibson was running crazy. That could happen in this game. The thing that you don't want to see with David Montgomery is them falling down early, because if they're down 14 points in the first quarter, they have to play catch up. That's not good for the game script, whereas David Montgomery thrives in close game scenarios or when the Bears have the lead, which is pretty rare. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum here, coming in at number 8, we have Chuba Hubbard. I think Hubbard is a better option than D'Onta Foreman. Doesn't matter if the Carolina Panthers have the lead or are slightly trailing in this matchup against the Steelers, who are ranked 14th against running backs, so middle of the road. Hubbard provides better value from a pass catching perspective. D'Onta Foreman rarely ever gets passes out of the backfield, but they will run him into the ground if the Panthers have the lead in this one. This could also be a low scoring affair, so hopefully Hubbard gets around 4 to 5 catches in this one and gets you around 12-15 fantasy points if we are talking about a good day here. Next up, we have Rachaad White and Leonard Fournette going up against the Cincinnati Bengals here, and they are ranked 13th currently against running backs. Listen, the pass catching potential from both of these guys is absolutely insane. Tom Brady is not connecting deep with Mike Evans, Julio Jones right now, Perriman. It's just not looking good for deep balls for Tom Brady, so there's going to be a lot of checkdowns in this game. Cincinnati's defense is not the worst in the world at all, so expect this to be a close game. And last week against the San Francisco 49ers, that Bucs offense looked absolutely horrible. Still, though, Rachaad White and Leonard Fournette had good days. I would expect that to continue in this one. Last but not least, here we have Brian Robinson Jr. going up against the New York Giants, who are currently ranked 18th against running backs. Listen, they just played the Giants 2 weeks ago. Last week they had their bye, but 2 weeks ago, 21 carries, 96 yards, 2 catches for 15 yards out of the backfield, ending with 13.1 fantasy points. If this game is close or the Commanders have the lead, they will run Brian Robinson a lot, which is very reassuring if you're going to plug him into your lineup. If this is a blowout, you can expect to see more of Antonio Gibson, but they just tied 2 weeks ago. I don't expect it to be a blowout, so Brian Robinson should provide some great value in this matchup for you guys. Anyways, if you guys learned anything, please remember to hit that subscribe button and drop a like on this video. I will catch you in the next one. Good luck in your week 15 matchups. Peace.